Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the RoninMac show proper. Basically what I'm going to be doing going forward here is picking 2 or 3 topics that interest me, introduce them to you, and open it up for discussion. Okay, topic number 1 today, following under the category of movies, is going to be this little ditty right here, The Social Network. I was a little reticent to see this movie, honestly. I didn't go to see it in the theaters just because I knew it was about Facebook. I personally am not into Facebook. We did end up buying this movie a few days ago and sat down and watched it, and I was more than a little pleasantly surprised by how good it ended up being. I mean, really, once you get into the movie, it almost really doesn't matter what the subject of the movie is about. It was just so well directed. The acting was superb, and even the soundtrack really set the tone and the mood for the movie. So Jesse Eisenberg plays Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook. He's a very introverted guy, which I can really relate to. So he's not supremely comfortable in a lot of social situations, and I mean the movie starts out with him breaking up with his I'm assuming it's a short-term girlfriend, but really doesn't matter, and you kind of get a feel for who he is, and you get the sense that she really likes him, but she's kind of tired of his introverted genius kind of bullcrap, basically. I also like the movie because it kind of makes you think. There's a lot of little themes running throughout the movie. Basically how, a young, brilliant kid could come up with this idea, and, all the bigwigs, the business tycoons and stuff are lined up to, they want to take his idea and own it. But he kind of stays true to owning his own creation and garnering the wealth from it. Going along with that, there's 3 sort of preppy rich boys that they basically wanted Mark to create their dating website for girls that wanted to date Harvard guys, and they end up suing him for stealing their idea. And sort of the tone and the mood of the movie, you're supposed to root against these guys and root for him. And I did, I fell into it, but when I got back to, just thinking over the movie itself, well, I don't think they deserved to get like 65 million or whatever it was they ended up getting. I think they probably did deserve some portion of the profits. I mean, because like they said, he did end up with a, $25 billion company, and if they hadn't basically planted the seed in his head, he may not have ever developed it, or at least not in the form that it ended up working out. And certainly, Mark Zuckerberg was a genius. He deserves every penny of the success that he's had, just based on the popularity of his idea. But, these guys probably deserved $1 million or so, just because who knows if he would have made that choices he made unless they had pushed him in that direction. So again, The Social Network, highly recommend, whether you're into computers, you're into Facebook or not. Just the drama of the story is compelling enough that it's a good movie in its own right, and I think all parties involved did an excellent job of bringing it to the viewer and making it entertaining. Alright, topic number 2 today is going to be under the category of books. The book I'm bringing to you today is an all-time favorite book of mine. It's a book by the name of Happiness is a Serious Problem by Dennis Prager. Some of you may or may not know Dennis Prager is a nationally syndicated radio talk show host. He tends to lean far more to the conservative side than any, but I wouldn't let that put you off if you happen to be more of a liberal bent. This book specifically, and honestly a lot of his radio show, don't necessarily have to do with politics 100% of the time. Dennis Prager is probably one of a handful of what I would say famous people that I really admire, simply because although he's intelligent, he's so much more than that, in that he seems to be seeking wisdom, which I think nowadays we don't see a lot of people who are necessarily wise, even if they're greatly intelligent. He doesn't necessarily just tell you what he believes or defend what he believes. He will give you the reasonings behind it, as opposed to just emotional reasons. He'll give you the intellectual reasons why he believes what he believes. The basic premise of the book is that happiness is a choice, and it's also something that takes effort and focus on. Obviously, there are people who are chronically depressed or have psychological issues. Really, that's not so much what the book is focused on. It's focused more on your average, everyday person, and it gives you a lot of tools that you can use or things that you can contemplate as far as how to garner more happiness in your personal life. I'll give you kind of a breakdown of the first chapter of the book. It's titled Happiness is a Moral Obligation. And a lot of people are going to get put off by that instantly because they don't like to be morally judged. But as in most of the statements that he makes, he gives one or two or three, but in this case it's three solid reasons why you should be morally obligated to be as happy as possible. The first reason is probably the most obvious one. Unless you're stranded on a desert island by yourself, you have to interact with people in your daily lives. How happy or angry or morose you are is going to have an impact on their lives as well. So if you're going to work miserable every day, complaining, grousing, your coworkers are going to have to feel the brunt of that. If you're at home with your family, angry, yelling, screaming, you're inflicting your mood on them. So whatever your mood is, you're going to be inflicting on those around you. You're obligated to be as happy as possible, because wouldn't you rather have happiness inflicted on you as opposed to anger or depression? His second reason for happiness being a moral obligation is actually one that I hadn't considered prior to reading the book, but it makes total sense once you get into it. Happy people tend to make the world a better place. Happy people tend to be more decent. I mean, think of any situation like driving, for example. If you're in a happy mood and someone cuts you off, you're liable to not necessarily react. You might say, hey, watch it, buddy, or something. But if you're in a bad mood, you might honk your horn, you might flick the guy off, and spiral down into a worse mood for the days. If you're in a happy mood, you're more likely to show kindness to others, generosity, versus if you're in a bad mood, you're more likely to feel put upon and justified in treating people badly, or justified in taking advantage of people because life is so hard and it owes you. His third reason gets a little deeper and a little more philosophical than the other two. Say, for example, you were a devout Christian and you walked around angry all the time. You wouldn't really be a walking advertisement for your religious faith. Or even if you're on the flip side, if you're an atheist and you're angry or depressed and you're just a drag to be around, you're not really a walking advertisement for your particular philosophy either. A religion or a philosophy of life is a cornerstone of a human's identity, I think. And if you are a devoutly religious person, have a happy demeanor to those around you, you're going to be more inspiring for them to show an interest or maybe a curiosity in what your philosophy is that helps you be so. So again, Happiness is a Serious Problem by Dennis Prager. I cannot recommend this book enough. He writes in a very relaxed, easy to understand style. He's not trying to dazzle you with his intelligence through the use of large words or grossly complex concepts. It's all very simple. It's laid right out there for you, and I have bought this book for several people that I know, and I can't think of one that didn't glean some little nugget of wisdom after reading it. Alright, and that will end episode 1 of the RoninMac Show. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for stopping in. Please feel free to leave a comment if you watched the video, enjoyed the video, or have any comments on the content for today's show. Again, thank you, and have a great day.